We're in St. Joseph County, Michigan, in Judge Jeffrey Middleton's court. We have a defendant who's in a little bit of trouble for not following through on his probation, even though he is off the sauce. We find out he's a Luddite, which makes it hard for him to take online classes. Surprise, surprise, Judge Middleton has known the defendant since they were in school. Stick around till after the case to catch an interaction you don't see every day in court. Roll footage, LawNerds.
The defendant is here. Mr. Frazine, the probation agent, is here. We're waiting for the defense attorney, Mr. Gibson, to get here.
That's no surprise.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barnick.
Mr. Middleton, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. This is a probation violation in the matter of People versus Gerald Elton Barnick. Mr. Barnick is here with his original counsel of record, Mr. Paul Gibson. Also present is probation agent Daniel Frazine, who filed the petition. Let me recap a little bit. This matter did begin as a domestic violence complaint. Allegedly, it did occur in June of 2024. The defendant entered a plea and was placed on probation. One of the conditions of probation was that the defendant complete the domestic violence treatment program and pay all fines and costs and not consume any alcohol. Years ago, in another case, I had ordered Mr. Barnick to complete the anger management course, which he did, but that was live. Anyway, Daniel has filed this probation violation petition that alleges that he was placed on probation in August for 12 months. He was to abstain from the use of alcohol. It's also alleged that he failed to participate in treatment as directed, failed to test as directed. So there was a probation violation arraignment on January 15th. Mr. Barnick pled not guilty. The matter was set for trial today. Mr. Barnick has had a long time problem with alcohol, but he told me at the last hearing that he quit drinking in like October or something. And I could see a difference in him just talking with him. At any rate, the matter is set for hearing today. Looking for my notes. And Mr. Gibson, what's the status here today?
Well, in speaking with the defendant, he would propose that the court and the probation consider allowing him to stay on probation. He tells me that he has quit drinking, and I guess I would say I myself can notice a difference in him. So I mean, when he says he's quit drinking, I believe that he has quit drinking. I mean, I understand that he could just be saying that, but he's saying that the class that he understands he needs to do the class. What he's saying is that apparently, regardless of what people can teach him, he's just not, he's got so little experience with computers and phones, smartphones, that he says that he's not really capable of doing a class by Zoom. He says that he has a valid driver's license and transportation, and that he could go to some type of a class in person, and he would ask to be able to do it that way. I don't know if that's possible, but
well, we had discussed it, but it's quite expensive. Was that one of the issues?
$850, and he had to have the money up front. He was saying that was something he couldn't financially do. I do want to say that I do have results from his test on the 27th of January, and it did come back negative.
Well, you and I discussed this when we saw the last issue. I think he did quit drinking at some point. He didn't test, but I don't think alcohol is our current problem. But he has limited resources. but this is important. The defendant minimized what happened. He and the complainant, Carla Barnick, have a long history going back 20 years or more. The 2012 case where he did anger management involved her. She's been charged, I think, 3 times with assaulting him. Alcohol has been a common theme in this. There was an eviction where they were living together. Mr. Barnick moved out, left her there. They actually evicted her and the sheriff came and put her out, and then they got back together, continuing this cycle of toxic behavior. That's why I think it's important that we get this class done.
Oh, I guess, would there be the possibility of him possibly trying to find a relative or friend of his that might be able to actually be with? It sounds like that if he had someone there with him that was showing him how to use it at the time.
The problem is they went above and beyond to do it. They spent 10 hours. Daniel programmed his phone, set it all up. Then he just failed to appear. He didn't do his homework assignments. He just didn't show up week after week. Didn't call and say, hey, I didn't go. He just quit going.
There's times I didn't have the money, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I can't punish you for not having money. I am pleased that you've, after all this time, are doing better with alcohol. Your version was that you got in an argument, you pushed her. The man that came upon this, who we both know, she had a bloody nose. He advised that Barnick was punching and kicking the female while she was on the ground. He advised the female tried to get up off the ground and Barnick punched her again. He had some sort of tile or something in his hand. As I indicated, you've been charged with assaulting her at least 3 times, and she's been charged with assaulting you about 3 times. And the police are all over it. They're just tired of dealing with this. So I'm looking for what our options are. I was impressed. I haven't been impressed with the fact that you didn't test, but you did just recently test and it's negative. Now people can always relapse. But I think somewhere in the fall you stopped drinking, and I think you've probably been feeling better ever since. You had enough money to drink every day. Now you're not drinking.
I don't even have a job right now, Your Honor. As far as I'm working on, I've got 3 chances coming up here in about a week.
All right.
After
Maybe,
February 1st.
didn't you work at the golf course at one time?
Yes, yeah.
Well, maybe when the weather gets warmer, there's that. But I want this to be completed. Also, this is a deferral. Even though you had previous ones, one turned into reckless driving, one turned into disturbing the peace. There was a felonious assault or assault with a dangerous weapon and reckless driving. That's the case that you did anger management in. That was in
I did reckless. I got to stop for reckless driving.
2012.
Pardon?
2012. Let me look at it again.
That's what I had. That was start off as assault with dangerous weapon, was pled down to reckless. I don't know the other facts than that.
Yes,
And the
assault with a
2020 was a
danger- it
DV
must
that
have been
was
with a
pled down.
car. But he did complete
Anger management.
anger management in that case. And then there was an assault, domestic assault in 2020, that was reduced to disturbing the peace than this one. And I believe all three of the complainants were his niece, Carla Barnick. So here's our options. We got to figure out a way to do this. Are you going to do 30 days in jail and lose your deferral? So don't look so surprised. I'm serious as a heart attack. We got to complete this domestic violence treatment
I
program.
will, yes, because I would love to do something else if I possibly can, because I can't serve time. I need income. to
You
pay
can
my-
serve time.
Pardon me?
You can serve time.
Well, I can serve time, but I have no source of income as far as
Yeah, well, you could serve 90 days and then you'd lose your apartment and then you'd lose whatever. So this is serious and you need to get on the bus and quit making excuses for why you can't do what you're supposed to do. I could just put you in jail and wipe my hands of it and let you get back into the toxic relationship you're in. But I don't want to do this anymore. And I said, I'm also very pleased that you're you put the alcohol aside.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
All right, Daniel, you got any ideas here?
I got a few we can kick around. But he's gonna just have to start taking this seriously. I can't keep spending this much time on it, so.
Well,
I think there's one other class that might not be as expensive I can look into. I can't remember.
Well,
the
in
name
his
right now.
defense, at one time, we had an excellent domestic violence treatment class. It was run by a man named John Burgess. And he'd been here for many years. It was very successful. Even the guys that hated me liked the class. Then that had issues and we started with another provider. Anyway, it was always live. It was a session, a group of men who were in the men's group and a separate group of women who were in the women's group. And it ran for, I was still prosecutor when I started it, 30 years. Then COVID hit and we turned into a virtual world. And some people aren't very virtual. I read an article yesterday. Christopher Walken has never sent an email or a text or used any sort of a social media device. Of course, he's rich. I guess maybe he's got people to do it for him, but some people adapted and some people just were able to get by without it. But my preference would be for you to do this rather than a jail sentence. Do you still have the same premises on North Main Street?
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, the sheets the mailing that I got, there's two sheets in there. One is the correct address as far as the number goes, and one's the wrong one. And I just,
Well, let's see what I got. I got 24256 North Main.
that's the incorrect one. I'd look for that on the street, and couldn't even find it.
Well, let's see what we should have. Where we got
It
that.
it looks like it should be 57256 North Main.
That's the correct one.
Well, I don't know where this one came from. Let me take a look.
It might, I thought maybe it was a misprint or something.
Yeah, your booking sheet shows 57256.
Yeah, that's the correct one. Or not, yeah, 57256.
I'll make sure before he leaves that he goes to the clerk's office too to ask them to update that. It looks like that the clerk's office has.
Is that one, I think I asked you, is that one of Dick Bonfoy's buildings or did,
It used to be, I think. He used to own those, I believe.
all right, and I think,
He owns some other ones just down the street.
Yeah,
from where it's at.
I think the firemen bought these. All right, so you're still there. Is Carla still there?
Yes,
All right, how is she doing?
she's improving. I'm trying to help her along here.
All right, so do you acknowledge that you didn't do the domestic violence treatment class as directed?
I'm sorry,
Did you acknowledge you didn't do the domestic violence treatment class as directed?
it's domestic class. Which one are you talking
The
about?
domestic violence treatment class, the one that I ordered that you haven't,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I first started out, I think I did like maybe 6 sessions. I went over.
Sounds about right.
So that's a start. So he was able to do the first 6 and then the
But
wheels fell
I
off.
had pretty good, I made 2 trips to Kalamazoo to work with, Bill. I can't think what his last name is.
Well, I don't think you're openly defiant, but you're also not as engaged as we need to be.
But I do get the impression that he may be more kind of like Christopher Walken than we wish he wasn't, but I guess because he tells me that he's just not capable of being able to learn, like, he says he's not capable, right, of doing the class on the phone.
Well,
the
it's
only
not
stuff-
ideal to do it on a phone and I had a lady the other day, I went to school there. And she came in by phone only and she was barely able to do that. And so she didn't have a PC or a laptop or
I don't either.
an iPad. And so there's plenty, you can function in this world without it. The guy we're about to deal with is in that boat. All right, I'll accept the admission. Continue the continue the probation. Continue to seek completion of DV class. He's done 6. Is there an anger management that we could do live?
Well, the anger management is live. If you did that again,
I'd love to do
Well,
that.
he's done 6. This would generally be 24 or 26.
right?
26, I think. If we can do it live anger management, I'll live with that.
Okay.
It's not ideal. Anger management is different than domestic violence. Sometimes I gotta take what I can get.
I'll get them plugged in.
All right, the same conditions apply. No assaultive or threatening behavior, no drugs and no alcohol. I want you to complete something. If I have to do anger management, I will. Just to get some additional training and insight. I think Carla had gone to the women's group at least once. And her substance abuse issues go back a long way too. And it's hard for you to be sober if she isn't. But let's hope for the best. All right, no jail, no other sanction. Probation is continued. As soon as you can complete this, we can discharge you from the probation.
Thank you, John.
So you go with Daniel and see what we can figure out. Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you.
Would you let the other lawyers know we're finished with this if they're ready with their case?
Mr. Middleton,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have a question for you, but what year did you graduate from high school?
1973 with your ex-brother-in-law, Walter.
Yeah, I graduated in 69.
Yeah.
Thank you very
All right.
much for giving me a shot. I'm gonna make it good with you.
All right.
And Carla, she ain't getting drunk. I tell you that.
Well, let's make this
So
work.
it will work. It's gonna be because of you.
All right,
I
thank you.
appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy watching this content, please like and subscribe. It helps new channels like this one gain exposure. There is a lot more good court to come, so if you like what you saw, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell me, and let me know what you'd like to see and how I can improve. Thanks.